We start off hour 3 of the program with a little bit of breaking news from the NFL.
Breaking news from Fox Sports.
The schedule release is happening this week, and they are releasing bits and pieces of the schedule before Wednesday when they'll release the full schedule. And one of those bits and pieces they just announced, courtesy of the NFL on X, that week 1, the opener, the Philadelphia Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys to start the season. It'll be
let's go.
Cowboys-Eagles to open up your 2025 season there. And I'm currently efforting to see if I can get a line on that, courtesy of our friends at DraftKings, because Philadelphia should annihilate them. That should be a total wipeout. So we're not going to have to wait long.
They got George Pickens now, man. You know, they got Dak Prescott coming back. You know, they got CD Lamb. They're going to have a happily paid, new well-paid defensive player in Micah Parsons. Yeah, Brian Schottenheimer is coaching. He's going to have all of their lockers reordered which, by the way, that got a lot of run. I mean, a lot of people were really upset with me. Apparently, I'm a horrible person for saying that veterans having a locker room or their own locker and maintaining their locker is a horrible thing. But hey, you know.
It's messed up,
I've
man.
been called worse based off of worse things, you know, before.
They came at you for that?
Oh, my gosh. No.
It's terrible.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's unfortunate.
But you know what? They will be a better team this year. I'm guaranteed. No, I'm not. I'm joking. That was a joke.
So it is going to be so Cowboys-Eagles will be the game on Thursday night. Reportedly, the Brazil game is going to be the Chargers and the Chiefs on the Friday night. So they're not waiting around. Like, we're going to go division on division to start out the first couple of games of the NFL season. So that's the away we go, and away we go for the Dallas Cowboys coverage to start out the year. So we're going to get that to open up the NFL season. So again, that's the news, the schedule release. They'll release bits and pieces of this throughout the course of the week. And Cowboys-Eagles to open up the season Thursday night, September 4th.
So going back to a philosophical discussion we had about the playoffs and winning your division and the importance of winning your division, hosting a home playoff game. You guys remember kind of the rant I went on back then where I feel like your overall record should supersede winning the division as far as hosting a home playoff game. You win your division, you're in the playoffs, but you still have to stack up to other teams that may have a better record, may play in a tougher division, that aren't winning their division. But I digress. One of the reasons why I bring that up is it feels like the NFL likes to schedule early and then late divisional games because of the importance of the division. Well, I would argue as a former player, and I even think speaking for coaches, et cetera, like it's kind of tough to then play right out the gate a divisional game to start the season as opposed to something that's maybe in week 4, 5, 6, 7. Once you kind of get your wheels going, especially considering no one plays in preseason anymore. You have less preseason games. So I don't feel like teams get their feet underneath them. They really start to settle in until about 2, 3, 4 weeks into the season now. And so because of that, I kind of hate the fact that we've got, even though it's awesome, I love the matchup, I do hate the importance of what that game could end up meaning. I do think Dallas has a chance to be, with some of the talent they have, a playoff team. Philly's obviously the favorite to win the division. But I look at that and just say it kind of, you know, if there's fluke games that happen all the time week 1. All the time. And for like the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, which is easier to get than the AFC, I'll admit that. But for Philly to try to get back, to repeat, to try to, which I think this roster's very capable of. You know, they lost Kellen Moore, so Kevin Patullo, who was their passing game coordinator, he's elevated into the offensive coordinator spot, and then they'll continue to divide up the run game coordinating. Parks Frazier's their new passing game coordinator. So they've got, you know, a little bit of change there on their staff. But for the most part, you know, this is a team that I think has a really good shot at repeating and having home field advantage, getting the bye. All those things are so important, and having to play a divisional opponent week 1, It's tough sledding, man. I mean, it's tough sledding for a team in Dallas that maybe you guys look at them and say they're a fringe wild card team, or maybe they're not even a playoff team in your mind. Whatever the case may be, I'm just saying I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of seeing divisional games right out the gate. If they're going to be that important, if that's how the league views them, I'd rather them be a little further into the season. That's just my take.
It's kind of like we've talked about this before. You know, when like the big college football matchups at the start of the year, like you schedule those big power non-con matchups, like when Alabama would play a USC or somebody like that to open up the season. Like, yeah, you're kind of working through stuff. So why would you schedule a conference game at that point if it's going to have an impact later on in the year? And it's the same thing. The NFL actually hasn't scheduled the season opener as a division matchup in like 5 or 6 years. And it feels like a division game people are going to be all in on no matter what at any point in the year. You had other options. I'm just surprised that they decided to roll out Dallas this early. Like and maybe
why? But why? I mean, you're going to have a tremendously large viewing audience.
You're going to have that anyways, though. You're going to have that anyways.
Yeah, but maybe more so than in other games. I mean, name another matchup that's going to be competitive to that.
So the potential matchups outside of the division, the potential matchups for the Eagles could have been the Lions, the Bears, the Rams, the Broncos, and the Raiders. Like
that they could have scheduled as the first game.
Yeah.
Instead of putting Dallas Philly in that first spot. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You know, Detroit makes sense. I don't think any of those are bigger games than the Eagles-Dallas game, though. And I'm of the same mindset that Q just presented to the conversation. But with that being said, there isn't a bigger matchup coming into it than that. And I will say this. Who knows if Philadelphia is as good as they were this past year? Who knows if Dallas will be any good? So why not leverage what you can leverage out of that in particular at its highest peak of interest, which could most definitely and safely be game number one.
Wouldn't you guys, if they were going to go division game to open up the year, I would have much rather it be Washington than Dallas. Like the way that played out, where they're jumping over the tush push, all that stuff that played out in the playoff game. Washington's got all this optimism. They're one of the more exciting teams in the league.
It makes sense. And some would say, historically speaking, that's a bigger rivalry game too. But I think in recent years, Dallas and Philly have become more of the bigger rivalry game. And again, I don't know for how long Dallas will be relevant, during the course of the season. So coming in, no losses, no wins. I mean, you got to believe that's people are at the height of their excitement for Dallas coming into it. Yeah. So I think it's a very leverageable situation.
You got to get them while the getting is good.
Get them while the getting is good.
Before the reality sets in.
in. How about this for an idea? All right. Why not the opening game of the season every year? Now, this takes away from this segment and the announcement, but why not make it a Super Bowl rematch? And I understand that's hard to do because in the scheduling process, Philly has to go to Kansas City at some point this season. We don't know when. And this has to be a home game for the Super Bowl winning team. But all I'm saying is it'd be pretty dope if they started off the season with a rematch from teams that played, 7 months, 6 months prior.
It should always be that.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that be kind of sweet? And then you see if there's some, maybe carryover from the Super Bowl, some hard feelings. You can see which team has gotten better in the offseason or made some additions as a measuring stick of what was a year ago.
Yeah, I would like that. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
I mean, I'd rather see that than Dallas.
Dang.
I don't know, man.
Hey, for the record, I'm not poo-pooing on Dallas like you guys are.
I'm not poo-pooing on them. I'm just saying it's safe. It is safe to get them.
You're saying for a ratings perspective, it's safe.
Correct.
Yeah, I get that.
Correct. That's all. I mean, you can maximize it, versus if you do it week 7 or 8, and it's dang, Dallas really stinks. or it might have worked out. They might be, both teams might be in really, really strong positions, might even be challenging for the division at that point. I don't know, but I do know you can't miss if neither one of them has a win or a loss on their record. Can't miss. That's for sure. We're going to be excited. It's the beginning of the season. Philadelphia Eagle fans are nuts. Dallas Cowboy fans are delusionally nuts. You bring the two together, and you got a great first game to roll out to people. I like the idea.
It's just,
even though it's divisional. I don't like the fact that it's divisional.
It feels kind of lazy. Like last year, you had Ravens, Chiefs, and like everyone kind of realized, yeah, those are two teams that are going to go places. This just feels like, well, it's Dallas. They've got a name brand. We'll throw them on. It's like,
I don't buy that. I don't think that's what they could be good this year, Jonas. Why you don't think that they have a chance to be competitive? They could be good. What if they come out in the first game and beat the brakes off of the Eagles?
That ain't happening.
But what if they do?
Do we see flukes all the time week one?
Well, that is true.
All the time.
Didn't Baltimore beat Kansas City in week one last year?
No. Remember this foot was too far over the back end line.
Yeah, it was close.
Isaiah Likely.
That is right. Yeah, it was close. Oh, there you go. I don't know.
You can go back
Flukes
to the years.
do happen, but
there's always some surprises.
I would not be surprised if Dallas beat Philly in week one. I would not be surprised.
All right.
You just writing them off. I don't know why you're writing them off. There's no reason to write them off, Jonas.
I mean,
Sticks Picks.
So you're going down.
I wouldn't go that far. I ain't going as far as to say Dallas is going to be good.
We played
I love Dallas too, VAR.
We played the sounder.
I didn't say I love them.
we played the sounder.
I did not say that was not a representation of me.
Sheesh.